doing here tonight as we are here for another edition of our eXba. Tonight we're covering the All-Star game of the three-point shoot contest and then of course the dunk contest and all that good stuff here tonight. So as we'll take a look at the league standings as we sit right at the cusp of the All-Star break. And first place right now in the Western Division, the Montreal Gothics right now at 28-19, even though they moved over from the East to the West. They have certainly done well this season, holding a 28-19 record, 28 at home, but 8-11 on the road. So the road schedule has not been well for them, but they've won their last 4 games in a row heading into the All-Star break. And then Anchorage Chill right behind them, the Alaska Chill, 29-21. They're half a game out of first place and 15-10 at home, 14-11 on the road, and 15-12 in their conference, and currently riding a 1-game losing streak heading into the All-Star break. The Kansas City Buffalo 28-21, a game back in third place of the Western Division. Then, of course, the New Orleans Neptunes at 27-20. The Seattle Martians at 25-20. The St. Louis Arrows, I'd say this team has been hot. At one point, they were struggling. They were absolutely struggling with their game, and then all of a sudden, they have found what is working for them. And right now they are holding a 10-game winning streak right now in the division. Really the longest streak going right now in the eXba, as they are holding a nice 25-22 record right now. Yep. Hey, everybody is here. Mike and Lady and Ryan. Sorry for the late start. Just had to kind of get some things taken care of before I went on the air. So that's why I sent y'all that little Twitter message. And then the Vortex also at 25-22. They've won their last 2 games in a row. And then the San Diego Cyclones at 25, also at 25-22. They're better at home than they are on the road at 8-15. And then you have the Phoenix Monsters at 26-25, the Denver Summit 24-24, the Peppers at 24-26, the Houston Lawmen 24-26, and they have lost their last 4 in a row. The Anaheim Supernovas, this is kind of a shocker to me, but the team that made the playoffs last season in the Eastern Division, maybe, who knows, with the change to the West, it's been a little bit different for them this year, but 24-27 heading into the All-Star break. Then the San Jose Cyborgs at 26-23. Big surprise to me here, Las Vegas Jacks, a team who made it to the conference finals last season against San Diego, only to lose in 5 games, and right now they are absolutely struggling. Not only have they lost their last 5 in a row, they are 23-27. They're better at home than on the road. 16-9 at home, but 7-18 on the road. They are absolutely just struggling on the road, and they have lost their last 5 in a row. The Dallas Barons at 21-28. Then you have the San Francisco Dragons 14-35. They lost their last 2 in a row. And the race is on right now between them and the Los Angeles Leopards, who are desperately trying to, of course, San Francisco desperately trying to stay out of last place, because they know if they land in last place again at the end of this season, they are going to be 2 years in a row of finishing in last place. You will be transferred. The franchise will move elsewhere. So right now it is a tough road right now. Like right now the Los Angeles Leopards went on a nice little winning streak, but then they lost their last 2 in a row, and only a game separates the Leopards and the Dragons from last place in the Western Division. So it's going to be tough to see, but San Francisco finishes last just like they did last year, then they will be moved elsewhere. And the Leopards are hoping to get out of the cellar. That way they won't have their tag for possible relocation for next season either. And then in the Eastern Division you have, this has been just an absolute surprise so far. The Kentucky Colliers in first place, 3.5 games ahead of the Jacksonville Jump, and 37-13 record. Not only are they 16-7 at home, but 21-6 on the road. They do not lose that much, and they are currently riding a 5-game winning streak heading into the break. And right behind them, last year's runners-up in the championship race, as the Jacksonville Jump, 33-16, 16-8, but 17-8 also on the road. They have been highly successful at home and on the road. They've won their last 2 in a row. Heading into the break, the City Slickers 31-15. Big surprise here with the Slickers, as they have really turned it around this season. Last year they were kind of dangling into whether they're going to be in last place. I mean, about middle of the run last season. Decent record, but it wasn't anything to scream about. But 31-15 record heading into the break. And then the Washington Founders at 29-19. They have been a big surprise coming off of last season, and they have certainly benefited from the off season this past off season. Another team that's been a big surprise, the Columbus Basket Hounds. They have certainly turned it around. They were dead last season in the East, and this year 28-18 right now, and looking really good. 14-11 at home, 14-7 on the road. So I would say being on the road works for them, being 14-7. But they'll need to improve on their division record. They're currently 4-5 in their division, but they have won the last 2 in a row on their home streak right now. The Milwaukee Bandits at 27-22 currently lost their last 3 in a row heading into the break. But 27-22, that's not too bad. And then the Tampa Bay Sting at 25-20. And then right behind them, the New York Neon at 26-22. They are generally decent, but 13-10 at home, 13-12 on the road. So nothing too much to scream about, though. They have won their last 2 in a row. The Atlanta Olympians trying to make that push, and they have certainly done it, winning their last 4 in a row. As long as they don't go on the road. They are 8-13 on the road and 14-11 at home, so they seem to do better at home than on the road. But they have won their last 4 in a row. Baltimore Cannons, they're struggling. It's going to be hard to say if they will make the playoffs this season, but they're only 3 games from 500. So I would say it'll be, as long as they can stay healthy, because Klay Thompson has already landed himself twice on the DL this season. But if they can keep him well the rest of the stretch run here, I think they should be able to benefit, hopefully, into the top 8. And then right behind them, the Nashville Tempo at 22-27, pretty much 500 at home, but 10-15 on the road. But they have won their last 4 in a row as this team with Kevin Durant, Goran Dragic, Karis LeVert, Mirotic, and then John Henson in the middle, and then Jahlil Okafor backing him up. Really a veteran team here that can hopefully get them. And Henson, who played for San Diego last season, key man who won a title, so he brings that championship quality to the Tempo. And hopefully they can get things turned around in the second half of the season. The Paladins, they at one point they seemed to be struggling. Then it went on a nice 5-game winning streak, and then lost, and then won the game before the All-Star break. So 22-27 right now, and they are the same record as their rivals, the Philadelphia Bruisers, also at 22-27. And they both have the identical record, 12-11 at home, 10-16 on the road, though. but the Paladins do have the better record in the division at 2-2, where the Bruisers are 2-4 on the in their division record. Miami Night Owls 22-28 have lost their last 4 in a row. It's going to be hard to say if they're going to be able to make a push for the playoffs this season, as they were in last season. The Detroit Power 19-27 this season, 1-1. The North Carolina Fly Guys 10 games from 500, says 17-27. So yeah, the road games have been killing them. 6-15 on the road, and 1 game below 500 at home. So they'll have to find something to turn their tide around just a bit. The Pilgrims at 20-31. Yeah, they struggle at home, they struggle on the road, so they'll have to find something that works for them. And then dead last, which is a big surprise from last season, as exciting as the stretch run was for us last season. BC Chicago just falling on hard times right now. 15-34 record, dead last in the division. 8-14 at home, but 7-20 on the road. They've lost their last 2 in a row, and they can only hope that hopefully they'll get things turned around fairly soon, as we get things going here once again, as we take a look at the transactions that happened before the trade deadline. And I will go over that real quick trades. But here, the first big trade, the Kansas City Buffalo traded Ivan Rabb, a power forward, for the Pilgrims' top. They traded the Ivan Rabb for the Pilgrims' top pick in the draft, which is Vernon Carey. So the Duke man goes from Boston, where the team that's been struggling just a bit, goes over to Kansas City, and hopefully will make them a better team as the case of that. On the other end, the Supernovas traded their small forward Troy Williams for a man who was a big help for the Cyclones last season off the bench, Wesley Iwundu. So the Supernovas are hoping that he can also provide some great stretch for them in the same regard as Wesley Iwundu goes from Cyclones to the Supernovas, and hopefully he can get them turned around. The Tampa Bay Sting traded their backup point guard Andrew Nebhard to the Night Owls for Markelle Fultz. So a little bit shocking trade there, but the team was looking for point guard help to help, of course, Kyrie Irving. So Markelle Fultz, I feel, is going to be a good acquisition there. The Dallas Barons traded for Michael Porter Jr. as the Jacksonville Jump decided to acquire the veteran Otto Porter for Michael Porter Jr. And right now, with the way the Jump is going, the Jump is playing right now, this might not affect them too much, and hopefully Michael Porter Jr. can provide some good playing time for the Dallas Barons, and of course get better as a player himself. And then the Neon traded Lance Stevenson to the Miami Night Owls for T.J. Warren. So T.J. Warren moves over from a team that's been struggling to the New York Neon. Hopefully he can be a good role player for them, and hopefully help the Neon continue the success they've been having so far. A little bit of a shocking trade here, but probably not to be too surprised and to be expected. But the Denver Summit traded Maxi Kleber, who was their center, as they traded for playing behind him, of course, was Paul Gasol, and they traded for his younger brother Marc Gasol. And of course, Paul is 40 years old, and probably this will be his last year in the league as a player in itself. And then of course you acquire Marc Gasol, 36 years old, soon to be 37, and can provide that big man presence in the middle. So, and Kleber for the Cyclones can also stretch the floor a bit, hit that 3-pointers, so that should be a big help for them in the long run, as we'll go from there. And then the Denver Summit traded David Nwaba to the Atlanta Olympians for Justin Jackson, and then just as fast as Jackson landed with the Summit, he was traded immediately to the Kentucky Colliers for Trendon Wofford, the young man out of LSU. So Trendon Wofford traded over to the Summit, and Justin Jackson lands on the Colliers, and that is a big 3-point threat for the Kentucky Colliers to acquire Justin Jackson, young man out of North Carolina. And then, of course, the Neptunes did a trade with the Las Vegas Jacks as they acquired veteran center Thomas Bryant, who was a big help for the Jacks last season, and they trade Bobby Portis to get Thomas Bryant to hopefully continue help the Neptunes on their run of success this season, as this should be quite interesting. And then the Detroit Power traded Zaire Smith, a shooting guard, to the Miami Night Owls for veteran Kent Bazemore, someone who can hit the three-pointers. And Zaire Smith, I think, will be on a team that he can really grow with. So we'll just have to see how this goes in the long run, this trade all the way through. And then, not to say one team continuing to get better, and maybe they will at center, as the Alaska Chill traded their center Kevin Gelly, young man, 6'10", out of Florida State. They traded him to the New York Neon as they acquired veteran center Dwight Powell. So Dwight Powell, the Chill feels that Kevin Gelly has done fine, but they needed some veteran leadership at center. So they went ahead and pulled the plug and got Dwight Powell to the Chill. And who knows? I mean, you got a team of, of course, Giannis, N.C. Canumpo, and those guys. Who knows? The Chill may be a team to be reckoned with this season for the squad. The Atlanta Olympians also did a trade with the Jacksonville Jump, as Shaquille Harrison goes from the Jacksonville Jump to the Atlanta Olympians, and Atlanta acquires Stephen Curry's brother, Seth Curry. So you're talking about the Splash Brothers, two guys who can hit the open three-pointers very well, and I think he will do just fine with the team, as the Jacksonville Jump right now are 3.5 games out of first place in the Eastern Division, and hoping to snatch that ring this year, a ring that was denied them last season. The Cyclones also traded Troy Williams to the New York Jacks for veteran center Omari Spellman. So this should be a big help for the Jacks in getting a small forward, which they needed help in that area anyway. And for the Cyclones, they get a power forward in Omari Spellman, who can not only rebound but block shots at his 6'9" frame. And I think he'll be a big, as he was with the Jacks last season, I think he's going to be a key man to key on for the Cyclones this season. Especially the Cyclones are going to make the playoffs and defend their title. And then the last trade on the trade deadline day, it was the California Dragons trading Justice Winslow to the Houston Lawmen for Precious Achiuwa. So hopefully this will help the Dragons stay out of last place. And of course they get a young player, Precious Achiuwa, a young man who can score, rebound, and block shots. So this should be very interesting on the other fact of how this whole thing is going to go, and how the second half of the season, just like you said, Ryan, is going to be an exciting second half of the season for this league, and how everything will go at this point. As we take a look at the injury list right now, it does not look good right now. Cam Reddish is out 2 to 4 months with his torn left Achilles injury for the Sting. And then Patrick Beverly went down for the Neptunes not too long ago for the Neptunes, and he'll be out 2 to 4 months with a dislocated right patella. So how is that going to affect the Cyclones in the second half of the season? And then Archer Zaggers for the Phoenix Monsters, he's out 4 to 6 weeks with a pulled left calf muscle. Tim Hardaway Jr., he's hurt, but he's still playing with a pinched nerve in his back. He still will be out 2 to 4 more weeks on that injury. Chris Paul, also high left ankle sprain, 2 to 4 weeks. He's out for the Pilgrims. And then Damari Carroll, also out for BC Chicago, as he is out 2 to 4 weeks for a right hand fracture. Isaac Bonga for the Carolina Fly Guys. Right humerus fracture for him, 1 to 2 weeks. Still left on the injury list for him. Larry Nance Jr. is out with a broken right toe, 1 to 2 more weeks for him. And Bruno Caboclo will be out 1 to 2 more weeks with a severe left ankle sprain for the Houston Lawmen. And then Frank Lakina is out 1 to 2 weeks for a left hand fracture for the Supernovas, but hopefully he'll make it back for that stretch run in which the Supernovas might need some help at this point. And then Jonas Valanciunas is out. He is currently day-to-day with back spasms, and Tyus Jones, who was backing up Chris Paul with the Pilgrims, he's out day-to-day with a sprained left wrist. Andre Drummond for the Seattle Martians out day-to-day with a sprained left finger, and then George Hill is also hurt for the Vortex with a sprained right toe. He is currently day-to-day with his injury, but he should be back fairly soon. And then as we take a look at the All-Star voting heading into the All-Star game, we have in the front court Giannis Antetokounmpo for the Western Conference leads the vote getters all the way through with over 2 million votes. And so the number one spot for him. Behind him is Kawhi Leonard, and then Luka Doncic on the team, and then Nikola Jokic, Paul George, and then Kristaps Porzingis, and then Andre Drummond, who also made the team. And then on the backcourt, you have James Harden coming off the bench, Russell Westbrook, Devin Booker, Ben Simmons, and Jamal Murray for the Western Conference. For the Eastern Conference, Kevin Durant, leading vote getter for the team, just over LeBron James at number 2. And then Karl Anthony Towns at number 3, Joel Embiid at number 4, Vucevic at number 5, the A-Train at number 6, and Yusuf Nurkic, who's been a big help to the Luka and Nurkic has been a big help for the jump this season at center, so he also makes the front court starting front court of the Eastern Conference All-Star team. And then Steph Curry, the captain, coming off the bench with Kyrie Irving, De'Aaron Fox, Victor Oladipo, and then veteran John Wall. And of course, this year's All-Star game in San Diego, as generally the eXba does the All-Star games at the defending champions home court. So that means for next season there'll be a new we'll see if we have a new champion and a new All-Star game location. So it'll be interesting to see how all of this goes. Now the big question is going to be how is everything going to work all the way through. Of course, yes, we do have some injuries to vote, but these are the participants for the team. For the Eastern All-Stars, you have Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Karl Anthony Towns, and John Wall will be on the team there. So let's not waste any more time here. Let's go ahead and get into the three-point contest, and then we'll do the dunk contest, because that is so exciting. And then we'll get into the three-point shooting contest participants for this year: Steph Curry, Devin Booker, Kristaps Porzingis, Jamal Murray, D'Angelo Russell, and Colin Sexton, all making the All-Star game, all of the three-point shootout. So let's go ahead and roll it, people. Yep, Luka and Kristaps Porzingis on the team. So that is very cool. And the Western Conference team leading, they are the leading getters this season. So there are the stars for the three-point shooting contest. So it'll be exciting to see who is going to take home the three-point shooting contest trophy this season. And then after this, we'll get right into the All-Star game. So it's going to be a little bit later than normal, but hey, it's all in good fun. Exactly, Ryan. Not like you're a Mavs fan or anything like that, but yeah, Kristaps with Seattle, Jamal Murray with the Montreal Gothics, Colin Sexton with Houston, D'Angelo with the Supernovas, and then Steph Curry with Jacksonville, and then Devin Booker playing for Phoenix this season. So Steph Curry is going to go first, averaging 21 points a game, just like he did last season. Here's your money ball right. He will pick number 5. And Curry not getting the kind rim rolls right now. Ryan must have tweaked the rims again. Is that going to go in? No, it will not. And ooh, Curry's struggling right now from 3-point. There he goes. Alright, when I say that, he starts bricking everything. And that it will rim out also. And another miss. So the old money ball rack. And well, he'll get 10 points out of it here in the first round. That's right. Make your picks. Who we got? So Devin Booker, he is going to pick rack number 3 as his money ball rack. And Booker. And Booker. Whew. I tell you, some must be a lot of pressure. Oh. So Booker going with, right now he's only made 1 basket. Oh my goodness, that rims out. That one finally drops in. And here he gets that one. And let's see what he can get out of this rack. And he does get 9 points out of it, so racks 4 and 5 he actually did get 2. Alright, so Kristaps is going to pick rack number 4 as his money ball rack. And Kristaps Porzingis getting